And we are live. Welcome to the NBA strategy show / the process / we haven't figured it out yet, but we're here anyway to break down a 5-game main slate. Honestly, I haven't looked at FanDuel yet. I'm going to assume they drop the 11 o'clock, but we'll look at it at some point in time as we go through here. I'm Josh Engleman, by the way. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live, and follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. Hope you had Cade Cunningham last night. It's not like some of these other guys weren't good. You know, I was happy to see what Wemby did, but didn't expect Cade to miss more shots than any player has ever missed in an NBA game. But that did in fact happen. That did, in fact, happen. Can I still get to the frivolities page? Is that easy? Nice. Let's see. Daily leaders. There's no way. Oh, it's game score. Got it. Yeah, let's take a quick peek here at old Cade, who took 40. He was 14 of 45 from the field yesterday. 16 of 18 from the line. I mean, that's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Luka Doncic and Cade Cunningham both made 14 field goals yesterday. Luka did it on 17 less attempts. Just for reference here, only 17 players yesterday took 17 shots or more, or took 18 or more shots. So the gap between Cade and Luka, only 17 dudes yesterday took more shots than that gap. Like Grayson Allen took 17 shots. That all 17 of those is the difference between Cade and Luka. Craziness. I mean, look, that's how bad Washington is, and realistically, in a game like that, Cade should have 70. That's as bad of an offensive performance as you can have in terms of, like, making it. That's crazy. It's so silly. Rich says DFS sucked, but put 100 down on Cade triple-double at 11-1. I mean, congrats on the bailout, I guess. You had to work way too hard for that one. Yeah, just a wild night. Who had the 3 40-point scorers yesterday, being Cade Cunningham, CJ McConnell, and Grayson Allen? You have 10 made threes for Grayson Allen on your bingo cards? Do you have 8 out of 10 from 3 for Vit Krejci? You guys have that on your bingo cards? Luka was great. Wemby was, I mean, like, it's going to get lost to yesterday, but Victor Wembanyama had a game that is so good and so irrelevant to everybody. He had 38, 12, and 5 and 6 stocks, and that's just like pedestrian now. That's so silly. What a day. What a day. Grayson Allen made 10 threes in 27 minutes. Bonkers. One thing I do want to say, it's starting to become very apparent. There is a chasm this season in defense. You could, like, look at all the top names here. Detroit does it against Washington. Grayson Allen does that against the Pels. Luka does that against the Hornets. Wemby does that against the Bulls. Ant does that against the Jazz. Like, these matchups that we're getting for these teams against the bottom of the barrel feel disproportionately bad. I don't know what we do with that, but we'll figure it out as we walk through this slate. So, look, it's 8 a.m. We've got infinite time to work our way through these 5 games, potentially the 6th. I mean, I'm going to get it projected, but not going to be the first plan for today. So I went through mostly last night and a little bit this morning and just did rotations, or at least, my first draft of rotation. So let's just hop in and see what we're spitting out here. So thank you guys for being here. Reminder, hit the like button. I don't know how long we're going to be here. It could be an hour and 45 minutes. It could be an hour. This is a smaller slate, but my guess, we're probably going to be here a minute. So get comfortable, get your coffee, get whatever you have going right now to start your day. It's time. Let me move my camera here. There we go. That's fine. That'll work. All right, first game up. Toronto Raptors. A little big. There we go. Toronto Raptors in Brooklyn taking on the Nets. Raptors, 10.5 point favorites, 234 total. Now, injury report wise, nothing to worry about. Chucky Hepburn, which sounds like a guy that played basketball in 1937. AJ Lawson still, no injury news that matters. We've got just sort of like standard issue Raptors today, other than Sandro Mamukelashvili is questionable for today. Don't have the reasoning here, but doesn't really matter. These guys don't mess around too much with their rotation. When they're at full strength, you're going to get so many minutes out of Quickly, Barrett, Ingram, and Barnes that like the rest of it just kind of has to fill in accordingly. We haven't gotten a ton of playing time out of Jakob Poeltl so far. So we'll see if and when he ever gets stretched back out. But we just want to look at it. This is something I added yesterday for us. This is... I talked about it a little bit because I had a different spot that I went to that had a table of information like this so that I could help project the minutes. I just made it myself. So you see each player's minutes for each of the past 10 games for the Raptors. If you see that little star indicator, that means they started. So should help to get like a little eyeball viewing of what we got for these guys. Pretty flat for the main Quickly, Barrett, Ingram, Barnes guys. It's pretty much just the same for 3 of them. Quickly 1 minute less. And then when it comes to the bench stuff, like I went 23 for Jakob Poeltl. You could tell me he plays like 25 or 26 today. I think that's a reasonable upside. But like, it's just Mamu rotational minutes. Colin Murray-Boyle's rotational minutes. Jamal Shed backup point guard minutes. Like nothing's jumping out from the rotation. It is a smaller slate, so it sort of matters. Like if Mamu plays, he's interesting, probably, just because he's good for backup center. Add him to the list of like Goga Batadzes of like guys I think are way better backup centers than most people do. If he's out, maybe you get a little bit more of Colin Murray-Boyles or something. But I don't think we're going to spend a ton of time looking at a Raptors bench. The caveat being they face the Nets, and the Nets are awful. As a quick reminder for how bad the Nets are, because they are in a bit of a battle fighting to prove that they are also bad like the Wizards and the Jazz and the Hornets and the Pelicans, but Wizards have the worst projected net rating. So this is a combination of EPM and the results so far, but we're talking about the Wizards offense being much worse. Well, the Nets offense is gonna get worse because Cam Thomas isn't here, and their defense is already the shittiest. So it's a great matchup for Toronto. The problem is, I don't know about you guys, but I don't have a lot of fun choosing between Quickly, Barrett, Ingram, and Barnes. But like, one of them's going to be good. Let's take a look at Toronto just from a baseline projection standpoint before we look at any rates. This is just whatever I had in to start the day. I haven't touched a rate for these guys yet, so if there are extremes, don't think that they're real. Minimal value here. Emmanuel quickly just kissed the 5x mark. Everybody else much lower. This doesn't look like a spot that has a lot of value in it. Like Barnes is fine, Barrett's fine. 4K Mamu will be more interesting if he happens to be in. Let's look at these rates. Let's see if we're missing anything. And let's pull up PBP stats and see what this Toronto team has been doing in situations where all the real dudes are around. Ingram, Barrett, Quickly, Barnes. Played in game. Get stats. Stephen Roach, love the new time. 9:30 start here in Newfoundland. It's always fun to see people popping in here from different places. Welcome. Glad you're here, Steven. Okay. So, these guys have played 10 games. All four of these dudes here. 25.5% usage rate for Brandon Ingram. 23% usage rate for RJ Barrett. 24% usage rate for Scotty Barnes. 20 and change for Quickly. And then no one else on the team is above 20. Just out of curiosity, what are these guys looking like when they're all on? Who's taking the haircut? I think it's Quickly. All right, these guys have played 332 possessions so far this season with all four of them on the floor. Are you ready? 22% usage for Scotty Barnes, 17 for Quickly, 23 for Barrett, 24 for Ingram. So just based on usage, it's basically, they're all the same, but it has been Ingram by a point over Barrett, Barrett by a point over Barnes, Quickly nowhere there. So it's 3 in one group and Quickly in another. And I think that's important for trying to think about how these projections ultimately get distributed. So I want to just take a look at their current rates right now. Probably over projecting the shots for Barrett a little bit, under projecting Ingram. Quickly right now is neutral. Barnes is slightly over. My guess is that if I just lock Barnes, already done this. Boop, boop, that can stay. And that can go. So slightly over Quickly, slightly under Barrett, slightly under Ingram, way over Barnes. Simple. Take that to 27. Flat, 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 flat. Under rep on Pirtle. I can handle that for right now. So let's see. That ends up landing me on about 25 and change usage for Barnes. About 24 Ingram, 23 Barrett, 20 Quickly. Yeah, I'm not mad about that. That all looks fine. How are these guys doing from a free throw perspective? Nobody's really taking a lot more. Not surprised. Not that kind of team. Have I changed those? I cut Barnes. Barnes is shooting less. Assist rate. All right, so I'm under on... Nah, I'm going to leave that one on Quickly. Under on Barnes. I'm going to leave that as well. Huh. Not seeing a lot of tweaks to this Toronto team. So this is striking me as a like what I see is what I'm going to get deal. Okay. At least as of right now, I'm pretty happy with what I see for Toronto. So now I'm actually going to make some opinions based on those rates that we just changed. Right now, I'm leaning Quickly. 6,400. I mean, the lack of MPEs here is frustrating. Quickly point guard, Brandon Ingram small forward, Scotty Barnes power forward. Mamu center, RJ Barrett shooting guard. Like, it's just, there's no flexibility. But I think I like Quickly the most from these guys. But ultimately, these guys are not all that dissimilar. You move 1 minute one direction, you move one usage point a direction, and you can move these guys around next to each other. I think it's probably more interesting to talk about the Brooklyn side for the reason that's pretty obvious, in that we have no idea what these morons are going to do. Cam Thomas obviously out. No Nolan Traore, he's with the G League team. Haywood Highsmith still out. Probably wouldn't hurt to get him back. I'm sure they'd like to have like one real defensive player, given they're the worst defense in basketball. What do I know? All right. We're looking at Igor Demon, Terrence Mann, MPJ, Noah Clowney, Nick Claxton. Bench rotation, Tyrese Martin, Zaire Williams, Day'Ron Sharpe. I went Ben Surhoff, Jalen Wilson, and Drake Powell. But spoiler alert, these guys play a lot of dudes, and everybody tends to get on the floor because most of these guys suck. Ben Surhoff has been out for a bit. He also started the first 5 games of the year. It seems so silly, man. Look, if it's competitive, you'll get 30 plus out of Claxton, probably Clowney, MPJ, and likely Terrence Mann. If it's not competitive, then you kind of just get everybody playing like 26 minutes and you desperately hate yourself for having Brooklyn Nets in your lineup. That's usually how it works. Because, I mean, these guys are next level untalented. That's a -4 offense, a -4 defense, and a -8 overall. And that's just baseline. That doesn't even account for matchup. These guys are dreadful. They only have one guy that is even worth a shit at anything, and that's MPJ on offense. And let me tell you what, Igor Demon, Terrence Mann, Noah Clowney, and Nick Claxton are not exactly going to be a spot where you find a lot of space to get them shots off. So, a little scary here for MPJ. But teams win these games all the time, you know? There's a 10-point upset every other day. What if this is the one? So right now, we're over-projecting Clowney shots by a little bit, over-projecting Claxton shots by a little bit, under-projecting Michael Porter Jr. by almost 3 shots for the game, way over on the Igor Demon. So we need to move this stuff around a little bit. First things first, we got to get more shots up for MPJ. That one goes without saying. This guy is going to take every shot possible because he's really the only guy that can do it. Man, 28 didn't even get him there. 29.5 probably will. Yeah, dead neutral. Let's take a look at the PBP stats for the Brooklyn side. And very simply, we're just going to get Cam Thomas off. I don't really care who's left after that. I don't think it matters all that much. In this time with Cam Thomas off, we've gotten 285 possessions out of Michael Porter Jr., 33% usage rate. So if you're a believer in him having a 33% usage rate, you probably want to juice his stats. I'm not going to go that high. I'm going to keep it in like the high 20s. I don't think he could sustain that usage rate on his own without Cam Thomas, as weird as that sounds. Like, I don't think it can keep because eventually he's just going to get too much attention. Still over on the Demon, still over on Clowney. I'm not under on anybody of value outside of Drake Powell. And I have Drake Powell projected for 13 minutes. So I guess I'm going to boost Drake Powell just so he stops getting a haircut and I could take some of those stats away from everybody else. Miles away. He must be playing with some real dreadful lineups when I look at this shit. Oh, he is a points prop. Okay, I got to give him more minutes. So just to talk about it here. So Drake Powell played 23 minutes last time out, 27 in their previous game. I didn't give him that kind of minutes run to start because, well, for one, I don't expect the rotation of Terrence Mann getting 18 and 22 in this scenario. Nobody played in the last one. Ben Suraf was not with the team. Danny Wolf was not with the team. So I didn't get the feeling that Drake Powell was going to play as much, but based on where I'm seeing that player prop to start the day, I'm going to flip-flop Suraf and Powell and see what the impact there is, because I'm just clearly light on him right now. All right, that helped out. Now we've got him redistributed a little bit better. Honestly, too good, because I was trying to fight against a lack of playing time and I didn't realize it. So now we've got Drake Powell locked in. Slightly over, not a problem. Now Suraf is the issue, which is fine. So we really just need to cut the demon and the clown. That should be easy enough. 15 and 16 and a half. Slightly over, slightly over. 14 and 15 and a half. It's going to over project Nick Claxton now. Yep. That's an easy fix as well. I think that I just got this. Good, all the way down the line. Great. All right, we're looking at, have I looked at Popcorn Machine to see when Powell played? Game was a blowout. Yeah, but, you know, it's the Nets. They all are. So, look, they're going to just rotate these dudes around. So, look, I had him at 12 minutes. Now it's 18. I don't think either are particularly relevant, but one of them was definitely wrong. One other thing I want to talk about right here is free throws. So right now I have Michael Porter Jr., what looks like 1.8 free throws below where I would expect him. Now, so far this season, he's shooting 3 more free throws per 100 possessions than he had been previously. He's at 6.5 per 100 right now. Michael Porter Jr. in my baseline model is at 3.5. So dude's clearly taking more free throws. I want to try to account for that. Nick Claxton is taking less free throws, it appears. Or sorry, I am under projecting Nick Claxton. He's taking more free throws. He's 4.3 more so far this season than he typically takes. I'm going to assume that he keeps taking those free throws. So I bumped that up. Assist rate. The Igor Demon is a little bit higher and has been a little bit higher. So let me explain what I'm looking at here. I guess I didn't do a very good job. This is all new, trying to say this stuff to you guys. So what I have on this screen right here are the season stats for each one of these players. That's what you'll see on the top row where the color isn't. And these are going to be weighted for recency. So games that are closer to today are going to count a little bit more in creating that average. So this gives me an idea of like what these dudes have been doing so far this season. I'm on the compare to base projections. So this is comparing to literally what I have projected and what they've done so far. So the good example here would be when the Igor Demon is playing the amount of minutes that I projected, he'd be averaging 3.3 assists per 100 possessions while he's on the floor. In my projections, I've got him at 4.7. So I am over his assist mark by 1.5 assists. But on the season, he is at 7.9 assists per 100 possessions. I have him now at 7.1, and I had him lower than that. So while I am what seems like slightly higher than his baseline rates, I'm happy with where I am. And technically, I'm right around his assist prop. 1 second, I gotta open the door. Had to bring the pup in. Oh, your bed's not here. Give me 1 more second. All right, now we're in good shape. I got the pup stacked up in his bed. So yeah, I wanted to describe like what I'm looking at here. When you see green on this comparison, like right now I am projecting more 1.5 assists more for the Demon, 0.5 offensive rebounds, 0.6 defensive rebounds. And I just want to be close logically, because that's all we could really hope for. And I think we're pretty close on these guys right now. So we looked at Toronto and we looked at Brooklyn. Now we could look at them both together. Because like as a baseline to start the day, I think it looks fine. How many people do you think are going to want to play $7,400 Michael Porter Jr. the way that I am? Because I have him as the best value in this game. Nick Claxton, not that far behind. Igor Demon, not that far behind. So let's talk about why it's showing up like that. The points prop for Michael Porter Jr. appears to be somewhere around 23 and a half. I am 2.7 points over that points prop. And 2 rebounds over that prop. But again, right now I got Michael Porter Jr. I'm a little high on his defensive rebounds, I guess. On the season, he's at 2 offensive rebounds per 100 possessions and 10 defensive rebounds per 100 possessions. I've got that at 2.1, 11.5. Okay, I'm high on the defensive rebounds. That becomes such an easy fix because now I just swap that back down to 10. I can see immediately that I'm now neutral to his current rate. And then when we go back to the slate page, we've brought him down a bit. Now he's at 8.6 boards. And if we go to that base projections page, now he's not +2 and change, he's +1. But I'm happy with where the rates are now. Jay Nebby, who do you wish you didn't play? I mean, it's not like you wanted to get away from Cade from that game. There's no realistic way to get rid of Ron Holland in that scenario, no matter how bad he played. Like, he already is a 20-minute-a-game rotation guy. Then he's starting with multiple dudes out, great position. Javonte Green, you wanted to have him. He was basically free with great position. That worked. Jalen Duren was good. Not like you could ask for more. Like, all that Detroit stuff was fine. Miami didn't look as good because they played Cleveland. And isn't Hawkes the best guy from Miami yesterday? It's not like we're going to earmark the bench on a 10-gamer. All right, so here's a question for you guys while we're here. Because I'm telling you guys right now, I'm heavier on Michael Porter Jr. than the public. Are you guys with me? Because I like it. I'm team MPJ today, and I have been so far this season, so. But I like the Brooklyn side of this game, I think, more than the Toronto side. I think it's a lot easier to get to MPJ. I think it's a lot easier to get to Nick Claxton. The Igor Demon is, like, fine. Clowney's fine at 4,600. I like the Brooklyn side. See if we have anything over there on Portfolio EV for this game. Don't forget, guys, if you guys want to sign up at OddsShopper for Portfolio EV, there's a link in the description. You could do that. And so you guys know, our NBA package for Portfolio EV, like our NBA model, is amazing. It has crushed for years. You're nuts if you don't want to come in and fire off these bets. It's a very different vibe, don't get me wrong, because you're just finding edge, you're hitting it, It's going to be relatively low, generally speaking, but it's a volume play. But the volume is there and should be there. Not a ton of positive EV out there right now. We've got Caruso, Simons, Nick Claxton under 24.5 PRA is showing up with a 5 OddsShopper rating and a 4.5 EV. So 24.5. What do I have it at? It's definitely higher. 14.9, 7.735. I got it at 26.1. Okay. I mean, it probably tells me that I'm slightly high on Nick Claxton, but Ingram, same play as Porter, less ownership. Well, don't know the ownership right now. So that's, we won't know that right now. But I mean, my guess is neither one of them are like heavy. I mean, I guess Porter will be at 74, even if I'm a little heavy. Yeah, they're going to be pretty similar. If there's a huge disparity between the two, I think that's interesting to see, but we don't know that yet. Let's go to game 2. Hit that like button if you haven't. Memphis Grizzlies, 9.5 point dogs in New York. Grizzlies are on a back-to-back. This is the front end. They play the Celtics tomorrow. So in New York, in Boston. From an injury perspective, still no Brandon Clark. Still no Javon Small. No Scottie Pippen Jr. No Ty Jerome. No Zach Edey. Weird team lately. Obviously, all the job bullshit goes without saying, but look at the way these minutes get distributed. Israel, that's today. That's today. I'll be driving past Publix later today to go pick up the dog from daycare. On my way back, I'm going to scoop it up. Look at the minutes here, though. KCP, this guy just plays like 24 minutes a night. Jalen Wells just plays like 24 minutes a night. Jock Landale plays like 25 minutes a night. Coward plays a bit more off the bench than you would expect. Santi Aldama plays a bit more off the bench than you would expect. And then it's just kind of, you're out of dudes. You know? I don't like this Memphis team right now. Triple J has been dog shit. Don't know why. Big fan. Took the money and ran, apparently. So let's take a look at these usage rates. I haven't really touched anything here, so this will be a good thing to work through. KCP a little light. Wells a little light. Triple J. Miles over. That dude is taking 2.5 twos less than he used to. Which is interesting. And difficult to figure out why you would want to make that change. So he's down from 12.3. Sorry, he's down from 14.8. Yeah, to 12.3. I'm gonna split the difference. Call like 13.5. All that does is redistribute the 2s versus 3s. But I also need to cut that usage rate a little bit. Just not doing as much. Still over by 2 shots. All right, I gotta look at this. PvP stats. Please tell me a little bit about this Memphis Grizzlies team with Jaren Jackson. When Jaren Jackson Jr. has played this season, he has a 22.7 usage rate. This is a guy with a 27.5% usage rate last year and 30 2 years ago. Why the hell isn't this guy shooting? Everything's going in. It's his most efficient season he's had. Can't miss from the mid-range. Shooting 39% from 3. Can't get an offensive rebound to save his life. Blocking 5% of his shots. Why is he shooting less? He's taking 4 less shots per 75 possessions than he did last year. Injury or irritation? What's the deal here? You got any Memphis people here? Why the hell is he shooting less? It's tough, because, like, I don't want to treat Jaren Jackson like he's a 22% usage dude, you know? Because I would expect by the time this season ends that number becomes like 26. And at some point in time, he's got to shoot more. Like, he's out on the floor with Jock Landale, Jalen Wells, and KCP. Shoot the fucking ball. Who else is going to shoot? John Conchar, Vince Williams? What are we doing here, Triple J? Either if you're hurt, take a break. Your team's not going anywhere. If you're not hurt, shoot the damn ball. It's so weird. It's so weird. John, that may be true, but he's like 12% of his shots are more assisted now. It doesn't appear that he is creating anything for himself. Like, this is a guy that 23rd percentile assists, assisted baskets, 29th percentile assisted baskets. Now he's middle of the pack. I don't know why he's not taking it for himself. He's not creating for himself based on this information. Is that going to change? Because if it is, Triple J is under projected. You know? All right, most of that looks fine. Little heavy jaw. Coward, fine. Aldama, fine. All those guys look fine. Free throws. Little under KCP, little over Triple J. I'm fine there. Way under Ja assists. He's at 12.4 assists per 100 possessions. Let's bump that up a bit. Triple J a little heavy. Again, I'm fine there. Pretty heavy Jock Landale rebounds. 4.4 offensive per 100. He is definitely doing that less. .44 and 5.5 on Landale. Just cut that down a little bit. I think that's good. I don't have many other tweaks here for Memphis. Let's see how they look here in this matchup against the Knicks. Nothing crazy. Value on Jock Landale is okay. Ja's fine. Aldama's fine. Coward's fine. Nothing stands out here. Nothing stands out here. Triple J is not going to be involved in a betting scandal 12 months from now. That much I could tell you. Of all the players in the league, he's going to be pretty low on the list considering his dad was an exceptional NBA player. I think he was probably in a life that didn't require him to do any of this stuff. He signed a $200 million deal. I don't think he's shaving points for an under 11.5. Definitely have very minimal interest in Memphis, which shouldn't be all that surprising. They are 10-point underdogs here today against the Knicks. So let's talk about the Knicks, because they have some injury news. But it's minimal. Mitchell Robinson is questionable for today. That's it. That's all we know for the Knicks. If he's not in, your starter could be different people. It's been Landry Shamet the last 2 times that it wasn't Mitchell Robinson. Exactly, Steven. Phil Jackson was his dad. don't think the Mitchell Robinson thing matters much for Mitchell Robinson. It obviously matters for everybody else. The less you play Karl Anthony Towns at the 4, the more you play him at the 5. And the more you play Karl Anthony Towns at the 5, the better the DFS play he is. So if Mitchell Robinson is in, Towns isn't as interesting. Doesn't mean he's not, just that it's less. If Mitchell Robinson is out, Karl Anthony Towns will be your center and things will be better. Let's start there. Let's take a look at rates. Now, this is the Knicks. Like, for the most part, I just want to be close on these guys. Brunson, Bridges, Anunoby, like, these guys are all going to be themselves, more or less. Over-projecting Brunson shots, under-projecting Bridges shots, essentially not projecting OG Anunoby's shots. Landa, thanks for also showing up at 8:40 to just talk about things you don't understand. Glad you're here anyway, even though you think this makes no sense. What does that say about you? I couldn't imagine doing something and talking shit about it while I also did it. That's hard to do. That's hard to do. To have such a disconnect in your brain from the jump. Couldn't be me. We are 3 shots north on Towns, 1.2 below on Mitch, well under on McBride. This is going to take a full recalibration. Boop, 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 and boop. All right, so now we are well under on Brunson and Anunoby. Let's handle Brunson first. He is 3 shots low, 30% usage. That's going to need to be like 30. That's going to be Brunson's player page. Let's get that to 34. That should be about right. Yep, on the nose. On the nose. And since Landa has no idea what is actually happening for this, this is barely a DFS show. So thanks for being here. I am breaking down the expectations for today. I'm not handing out plays or picks or logic. We're building the rotations and changing rates. So if you think that that is useless at 8:30 in the morning, I have a confident assumption of your intelligence. Okay, we're good on Brunson. Which means next up, neutral Bridges. Anunoby's got to be next. We are 3 shots short on Anunoby. 17% usage. He's a 19 guy. I'm going to need to be at 21 here. Yeah, almost nailed it. Good, 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 good. Mostly good. All right, stat rates, good on the Knicks. Free throw rates. Towns is apparently shooting a lot more free throws so far this season. On the year, 10.6 free throws per 100 possessions. That is 3 higher than my current baseline rates. So, man, people are just shooting so many more free throws this year. It's crazy. So we've got Towns. I guess Robinson's fine. We are under considerably on Brunson and Bridges assists. Brunson's assist rate is where I have it. Mikal Bridges, on the other hand, 7.7 assists per 100 possessions. That is up from 5.2. I think it's very clear right now that the Mike Brown offense is getting Mikal Bridges involved from a facilitation standpoint much more than he had been. Anunoby and Towns as well. I'm going to give a slight bump to Towns and a slight bump to Anunoby. Rebounding, so I'm over on like all of these dudes without an adjustment either. That's funny. Like a full rebound over on Anunoby. Oh, wrong rate. Now, under. Got it. Dude, Mitchell Robinson rebounds offensively like a absolute maniac. I know he hasn't played a ton, but Mitchell Robinson is rebounding 16.5 offensive rebounds per 100 possessions right now. That's so stupid. I can't go that high, but I am going to bump it. Don't really have any other issues here, so I think we could take a peek at the Knicks now. All right, Knickerbockers. Not much here either. Towns is my top dude. Anunoby, but like, look at the value. 4.99, 4.85, 4.8, 4.76. Anunoby, Brunson, Hart, all might as well be the same guy. Bridge is not all that different either. K-Dub, you would let Josh be your accountant? I mean, that's, of all the things that I'm qualified to do, I could be your accountant. I have more technical qualifications to do that than I have to do this. There was a non-zero chance that when I got out of college, I could have went for accounting, but it was too boring for me. But I do have a finance degree that doesn't get used in any way. I don't like much here on the Knicks side, man. Am I off on their props at all? Nothing crazy. Short an assist on Brunson, up a point. I'm cool with that. I think he'll score more. Short on Bridges, a point, but everything else is pretty dialed in. Maybe a little heavy Josh Hart rebounds. Not that I want to change it. All right, so we've looked at 2 games so far. We're about 45 minutes in. I'm happy with the pace that we've got going on so far. We've got Toronto, Brooklyn, Memphis, and the Knicks. And really, there's not much here. I am disproportionately excited about MPJ and potentially Nick Claxton. We'll see what that ends up looking like. Let's get to the next one. Boston and Philly. I do know the team salary caps. That is pretty financial. That's true. So Boston, as I mentioned before, they are also on a back-to-back. On the front end, they get Memphis tomorrow. Now, they are 1.5-point dogs in Philly. It's a 231 total. And from an injury perspective, it's just Tatum, which we already knew. Everybody else is available. Sam Hauser probable. We're looking at White, Pritchard, Brown, Minot, and Keita in the starting lineup. They don't really deviate. They've had the same starters for 7-8 straight games. Ever since Minot took that spot. Now, he doesn't play a ton. Got 30 minutes going to the White, Pritchard, Brown trio, and then, you know, it's low 20s or less for everybody else. We've started to see Jordan Walsh playing a little bit more lately. 26, 19, 24, and 19 in 4 out of his last 5. Baylor Shireman just can't get out there. They've already excised Chris Boucher. Xavier Tillman gets no run. So let's take a look at the rates. And this is tough for these guys because it's basically like they got 4 dudes that do anything worth a shit, and then that's it, which is really hard when they're all guards. Slightly under Derek White. Slightly under Peyton Pritchard. Way under Jaylen Brown. Way under Minot, under Keita, quite a bit over Anthony Simons. So let's start making some tweaks. I'm going to get Simons dialed in first off the bench. Still too heavy. Okay, that'll work. So for right now, we are most off on Jaylen Brown. Too good now. Now we are most off on Derek White. I mean, I guess technically it's Josh Minot, but I am going to give 0 Fs about Josh Minot. Let's do that. Maybe that helps. Still light on Minot. A little light here, a little light here, a little light here. We're good, though. I think. 5, 9, 8. Yeah, that's fine. Josh Minot probably does need an extra shot. I'm going to go ahead and just give him another minute to make my life a little bit easier. For now, shot attempts, that's going to be fine. Free throw attempts, we are light on Peyton Pritchard and Jaylen Brown. Both guys are taking like an extra free throw and a half so far this year. Obviously, Peyton Pritchard doesn't take a ton of free throws. We are under on Peyton Pritchard's assists. That's not surprising. 7.9 assists per 100 possessions for Peyton Pritchard so far this season, up 1.6 from my baseline. Can't go too high, but those rates aren't going to go anywhere. Derek White is defensive rebounding a bit less. Seems relevant. Josh Minot, I have slightly underprojected from an offensive rebounding perspective. 5.4 offensive rebounds per 100 possessions, up 2.5 from the baseline. So he has been really crashing the offensive glass, it appears. And that's a coaching thing. They are telling him to do that. All right, I think we're pretty good here. Ooh, got to cut Simon's assist rate. He has not been facilitating as much. 3.5 assists per 100 possessions for Anthony Simons, down 2.5 from his baseline. Anthony, they're just numbers, man. You could type in numbers wherever you want. You could edit and upload your own projections for every single player if you want to. You could edit them as simply as possible. You want to give a guy another minute, you press a plus button in our sims and it'll go up 1 point. All the customization you could want is there. Whether you want your own custom projections uploaded yourself or just editing in our back end on the sims, you can do whatever you need. See if anything stands out for the Boston Celtics. Skirt. There we go. I mean, how over projected do I have Anthony Simons right now if he's projecting like that? Or don't I? And is it just a salary thing? All right, I'm heavy by a point. I'm heavy on White's points and Pritchard's points. I don't have a problem with that. Boston, okay. Boston usage rates. When Brown, White, Simons, and Pritchard all play. No, Anthony, you're good, man. Just numbers. You can change anything you need to. White's at 22.5. Payne Pritchard, about 21. Jaylen Brown, 35. Simons, 23. Little heavier on Simons, I guess. Doesn't really feel like I am, though. Take it one notch, I guess. I don't want to go too far. It appears I like Boston. I feel like we got some decent value on a $4,500 Anthony Simons. I think Pritchard looks reasonable. I think Derek White looks reasonable. Jaylen Brown, Minot, Cada. And I don't even think I have that great of projections on Minot and Cada right now. I really like this Boston side. There's more value here than any other team we've talked about so far. And we got a matchup against the Philadelphia 76ers. Sixers are not on a back-to-back. They don't play again until Friday. That will be NBA Cup against the Pistons. Speaking of, are the Pistons Okay, so they are 1-0 in the Cup, and they play Boston. Yeah, or no, they play Philly. Okay. I need the Pistons to win that. I have Cade to win the NBA Cup MVP, and as of right now, I feel a lot better about that than I did before the season started. Let's talk Philly. No Dom Barlow, no Johnny Broom, no Paul George. Otherwise, injury news doesn't matter too much. Jared McCain is available. You guys want to have that conversation? So I'd imagine there's a lot of people out there that don't understand why Jared McCain is playing no minutes. You know who is playing minutes, though? Tyrese Maxey, 40 a night. Edgecombe's playing 36 plus. Kelly Oubre's playing 37 plus. We do have a Joel Embiid game. I got him in for 25 minutes. He's played 26, 26, and 25 in his last 3. If he gets more than that, great. If he doesn't, not surprising. Then you got Trendon Watford expected to start at the 4. Grimes playing big minutes off the bench, and then nobody else exists. Most minutes I have to anybody here off the bench is Drummond or Bona at 12. So it's either starters or Grimes. And even with the starters, that's a little vague. So let's take a look at the usage rates and rest of the rates for this Philadelphia 76ers team. Very weird team right now. Massively under on Maxey. Massively under on Edgecombe. Massively under on Oubre. That's about it. Got to fix Maxey first. He is 4 shots off of what he is at for the season. As you can see, we're underrepresenting his points by 2.5. So, if he went from 28-7 to 25-2, I'm going to need like 32.5 here. Too much. Still too much. Good enough. All right, we got Maxey in. And based on my current assist rate prop, I think I'm okay with it. That has now created a new trickle-down effect of being massively off on VJ Edgecombe, which is going to lead me to Philly and PBP stats. Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe. Actually, Maxey Embiid on. Where's the rest of the usage? 134 minutes. Embiid 35. Maxey 26. In the 117 minutes that VJ Edgecombe has shared the floor, add Oubre, I guess. VJ Edgecombe and Kelly Oubre have shared the floor with Embiid and Maxey for 115 minutes apiece. They have 12.5% usage rates. I think that's very relevant when you think about this. Now, are they going to play all of the minutes together? No. But it is very clear that when Maxey and Embiid are on the floor, no one else participates. And we got to be aware of that as we build this out. It's going to be way too high. Yeah, that's miles too high. Miles too high. Still miles too high. That'll work. I kind of want to play Embiid today, but I doubt that's a thing. All right, so that does really underproject me for Edgecombe and Oubre. I don't care. That doesn't bother me in any way, given what I just saw. What I do want to do, though, is make sure that Trendon Watford isn't a guy that benefits from any of this. And somehow still is. All right, that's perfect. That's going to wildly underproject VJ Edgecombe and Kelly Oubre, but I don't really see an alternative. But I don't hate it. Free throws look fine. Slightly overprojecting Embiid. He's going to start shooting more free throws. Maxey averaging 9.4 assists per 100 possessions. I'm going to bump him up a little bit. Trendon Watford averaging some assists, but I'm not going to treat that one the same way. Rebounds are fine here. Actually under projecting Maxey's rebounds. Is he rebounding more? A little bit. God, Tyrese Maxey doing it all for this team. Slightly over projecting Embiid's rebounds. That's fine. Slightly over projecting Kelly Oubre's rebounds. That's interesting. He is rebounding less. So, sorry, Kel. Gonna lose a couple of those boards, brother. All right, that's Philly. Let's see how they look. Top of the hour. Been live for an hour. Hit the like button, folks. That helps out a ton. I got some stuff to talk about after this. All right, let's look at Philly. I mean, I guess I could leave the Boston piece in there because it stands out. Boston, 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 Boston at the top. Highest value from Philly, Joel Embiid at 7,600. And then I guess Maxey's close, but Tyrese Maxey's 10-3. He's the second most expensive guy on today's slate behind Shea. What do we do with that? Really don't like the Philly side right now. They do not seem cost effective. 10-3 Maxey. I don't know about that one. 4,800 Trenton Watford. Like, I like Trenton Watford, but that's a big price tag for him. And he doesn't have to play that much. 6,300 for Grimes. Like, I guess. Oubre, Edgecombe. I don't know. Einsteinium. Look, I had him too, man. Everybody did. He was 65% owned. More or less correct. Don't really like the Philly side here. Much more of a Boston vibe. Couple more games to go. Let's take a peek at tails. Anybody dropping any gems so far today? What do we got on the NBA side? All right, just lucky picks. Dropped a Dennis Schroeder over points and assists. That can't be right. Maybe that's got to be just assists. No. Yeah. That can't be right. Right? Over 7.5 points. It's got to be so much higher than that. Did he really get that? Is this a... Maybe he just missed the one. That was supposed to be 17.5. Either way, we haven't gotten to Schroeder yet, so I don't have anything here. Ooh, Sam dropped a portfolio EV one. Under assist for Siakam. Under PRA on Pods. Over 33.5 PRA on Lauri Markkanen. Spoiler alert, we're going to get there, but we're going to like that leg. Splash Bets just dropped a 5-leg same-game parlay. Jokic boards. Domas boards. He's questionable today. Towns points. Barnes points. Maxey assists. 30% profit boost sitting over there on FanDuel today if you guys are interested. And for anybody that's looking today, you're not going to see anything for Greg. He's going to be out for today. So you guys will have some fun then. Let me hit you guys with the schedule for the rest of today. NFL strategy show coming up next, 10 a.m. Laffy and Ben. You're going to get the NHL strategy show at 1:30. Then I will be back at 5:30. Again, Locke is at 7:30 today. So deeper dive, 5:30. Myself and Spags, 6:30. Special live before lock. Eric and Eric in the evening. Eric Lindquist and EMAC. Breaking down live before lock for you guys tonight. All right, let's keep moving. We got more teams to look at. Actually, did my standings update? Are the Pistons 9-2? I put this in here yesterday and I didn't realize if it updated or not. Nice, it just automatically updates. Cool. I got the standings. Added a little line for top 6 and top 10. But Definitely didn't expect this. Definitely didn't expect this. Definitely didn't expect this. Didn't expect this, but it's awesome. The rest of this is pretty normal. Didn't expect this. Clippers 3-7. All right, next game. Golden State Warriors at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Big piece here. Gonna make it hard to talk about a little bit because they're gonna do something in the next 2 days. Warriors are on a back-to-back. Today is OKC. Tomorrow is the Spurs. So that's the top 2 teams in the West for the Warriors. Not exactly a fun little road trip here. Al Horford, questionable for this one. D'Anthony Melton obviously still out. The Horford Q tag is this. He's going to play one of these 2 games. He's either going to play the Thunder or the Spurs. I don't know which one it's going to be right now. I got him in. If he's not in today, we'll project him in tomorrow. But it kind of just impossible to deal with. So let's look at rates. And obviously, like from a playing time perspective, Steph has been out past 3. He's back. Do I think that he's just going to fall back into like 34 minutes? Probably not. You know, they probably take it easy in the first half and then give him normal second half. So, you know, if you want to say that should be 31 or 32, I can believe that. In games where pods doesn't start, it's very different. You can see start. Pretty much all of those are 30s, save for this 2 games ago game. When he doesn't start, 24, 26, 27, 22, I got him in for 25. That starter distinction is important. 22 for Moody, 20 for Horford, 19 for Hield. You don't have to pay attention to anybody else on the team. So let's look at stats. Now, right now, I've got Steph under projected by 3.4 shots. And just in case you're curious, yeah, I'd like to get him to take them. Ooh, still short. Close enough for today. Neutral Butler, neutral Kuminga, slightly over Draymond, well under Pods. So Pods falls to 18. He's a 18 usage guy. I'm just going to lock him at 19 and lock Draymond at 14.5, and that should probably fix everything. Nope, didn't fix Draymond. 13. Okay, fixed Draymond enough, didn't fix Pods enough. That is probably good. Steph's fine, Butler's fine, Kuminga's fine, Draymond's fine. A little optimistic about Post. Pods is good. Let's look at assists and free throws. Steph is a free throw short. He's shooting 8.1 per 100 possessions. That is up 1.6 from our baseline rates. So let's get Steph an extra free throw. No other free throw issues. Steph also short an assist. However, he's at 6.4 per 100 so far this season. I've got him at 7 and I've already brought it down. So I'm comfortable with where I have his assist rate. Now, Draymond, I'm 1.5 light. He's at 5.6 per 100 adjusted for gameplay. And he has been a little bit better. So I'm just going to bump that very slightly. Pods is fine. Rebounding a little bit more. Wow, so Jonathan Kuminga, I'm guessing, is going to look a little bit. No, those are pretty flat. Interesting. No real rebounding issues. I think I'm good on Golden State. Now, obviously, this matchup sucks. Oklahoma City is the best team in basketball. It's not close. All right, a little more optimistic about the points. Little light on the assists, and that doesn't surprise me that much. It does feel a little light. Let's see if we like anything for the Golden State Warriors first glance. No, we do not. And obviously that should not be surprising. 227 total, lowest total on the slate. They're 7.5 point underdogs, which They're probably the low implied total. If not, they're knocking on the door of it. There's nothing here. $8,800 Steph, no. Butler, no. And then the value goes. These guys are going to be the lowest owned team today. It's not even going to be in the ballpark or close. No one's going to get to Golden State. So you guys got to figure out if you want to. Now they face Oklahoma City. Again, 7.5 point line, 227 total. Thunder also on a back-to-back. This is their front end. They've got the Lakers tomorrow. Both of these are at home for OKC. They continue to be bouncing in and out of injuries. This is where it's going to get kind of important. Aaron Wiggins out for OKC. Good Jalen Williams still out. Kenrich Williams still out. Lou Dort out. Nikola Topic still out, obviously. Hopefully the cancer stuff's going well. And then obviously Thomas Sorber not going to be playing at all this season. Expected starting lineup: SGA, Cason Wallace, AJ Mitchell, Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein. And then the real minutes on the bench will go to Isaiah Joe, Alex Caruso, Jalen Williams with a Y in his name. Probably going to need some heavy rate tweaks here. Actually, kind of neutral on Shea and Cason Wallace and AJ Mitchell over Chet is the only real issue. And then maybe a bit of a bump to Isaiah Joe. That's better than I was expecting. Chet at 22.5% usage, so he is correcting up. That might be good enough right there. Nope. Got to go lower on Chet. Did I fix Joe? No. Made it worse. Damn, Isaiah Joe. You sharing the floor too much with Shea? What the hell is the deal here? Okay, that's all really balanced now. Free throws seem fine. I am underrepresenting AJ Mitchell by a free throw, which on the season, he is taking 2.4 more per 100 possessions. So we do want to get AJ Mitchell out there, get a couple extra free throw opportunities. Chet is fine there. Hartenstein slightly underrepresented. He also is shooting more free throws. So let's not miss that. Assists. Pretty much fine on everybody. Offensive rebounds, pretty much fine on everybody. A little bit over on Chet, both offensive and defensive rebounds. Are they down? Offense down, defense not. I'm just going to trim his offensive rebounds a bit. I think we're good on OKC. Now, I have to assume these guys look miles better than Golden State did. And yeah, Chet Holmgren season, baby, 7,700, power forward only. Clearly the best value here. I got him at 18-9. Are we in and around the prop market? 2 points light on SGA. A rebound and a half heavy on Chet. I'm not sure I care. How have the Warriors been rebounding so far? Does this check out logically? Golden State is 21st in offensive rebounding. Okay, they're 5th in defensive rebounding. Okay. Well, I like that for Chet. And I'm not over projecting his, I guess I am a little bit, but no, he's at his rate. He's averaging 10.5 per 100 possessions this season. I got him at 10.5. I like Chet here. Chet's the dude. If you're taking something here right now, first glance, Chet's the best thing in OKC Golden State. And obviously, feel free to play Shea. 10-8 Shea, 10-3 Maxey. They're the only two guys north of 10K. All right, I got to talk about one thing here. I'm hoping you guys could help me out with this because I was talking about Tails before and we took a look at some of the bets. A reminder, Tails is free. Costs you nothing. You can spend money on Tails if you want to subscribe to some individuals, but you don't have to. You could follow the free picks feed and get what you're looking for. Now, we would like you to follow some people, like guys like DK DFS have exceptionally profitable betting packages. But the thing that could help us out the most is what I have on the screen right now. There's a link in the description. You guys got cell phones, right? If you haven't downloaded the Tails app, this would help us out more than just about anything you could do, save from just subscribing to us. Download the app, follow some of us, follow me, follow Lofty, follow Greg, follow Eric, and then some. Leave us a review. And if you can, a 5-star review. But these things help us disproportionately than we could have ever expected. You guys getting these reviews in have put us on a rocket ship up the App Store. And the more they, like, if a couple come in, it's impactful in a way that you wouldn't expect. If you guys want to help us silently like this, it's going to take you half a minute to a minute to download the app and leave a review. But if you guys could do that, that would help us tremendously. I like to ask for things that cost you nothing, and this is something that costs you nothing. So if you guys can leave us that review, that will be great. One more game to go on the main. That's Indy and the Jazz. So the Pacers, not on a back-to-back. They last played on Sunday against the Warriors, got the shit kicked out of them. They play today, and then they're off tomorrow. They play Phoenix on Thursday. So I'm guessing they don't play on Friday. We got a lot to talk about, though, for the Pacers. Now, if we start from the injury side, obviously no Mathurin, Toppin, Rampage, Furphy, Halliburton. But TJ McConnell is questionable for today, as is Talon Peter. Last time out, we didn't get Nesmith in that drubbing. We didn't have Siakam in that drubbing. We haven't had TJ McConnell at all. But Nembhard came back, first 2 games back, 33 minutes and 30 minutes. So on the surface, the starting rotation seems fine. Ben Shepherd, is going to be out there. McConnell's going to get some backup run. Everything flattens itself out the way that you would want it to. Is the thing still going on if you finish top 5 in a contest with more than 10K? It's top 3. But yes. Yeah. All of those details are at stokastic.com in the social dropdown. So let's look at rates here for this Pacers team. Obviously a little bit different right now. Little under projected to Nembhard's shot attempts. A little under projected to Nesmith's shot attempts. And Walker and Siakam. Not really over on everybody. How can I be fucking under on everybody? That's hard to do. All right, 1.1, 1.6, 1.1, 0.9 even. So it's Nesmith that needs the tweak. Let's get him up by 1. Honestly. Let's get Nembhard up by 1 and Siakam up. No, Siakam was neutral. Negative 0.6, negative 1, negative 1.5, close to negative 1. Missing a shot a little bit too aggressively. Maybe I didn't need that extra piece of Nembhard. Anybody on the bench taking too much? No. I'm going to leave this right now. Free throws are fine for this team. Assists are fine for this team. Could make a case I'm under on Nembhard, but I have adjusted that already, so I don't want to adjust it anymore. Realistically, Andrew Nembhard isn't rebounding. Kind of do want to move that, but just because if he's going to be the lead guard, that's going to look different. Slightly overprojecting Nesmith rebounds, that's fine. Slightly overprojecting Walker rebounds, that's fine. Siakam, same. Look, We know this is going to be a good matchup for the Indiana Pacers. They get the Jazz on a back-to-back. Not a ton to love. I am leaning Andrew Nembhard right now at 6,300. I think Nesmith and Siakam are both completely fine representation. Punt Isaiah Jackson is probably not a thing. I don't think you're going anywhere else. Nembhard, Nesmith, Siakam, probably not clicking on any other Pacers. Well, let's talk Utah. Because the expectation for today for the Utah Jazz is a starting lineup of Keontae George, Svi Mykhailiuk, Ace Bailey, Lauri Markkanen, and Yusuf Nurkic. I'm assuming, but we don't know it yet, but it's possible Isaiah Collier doesn't play today. We're going to need injury reports before we get to anything. But we've got these guys in and ready to go. So let's look at their rates. Now, I am a Markkanen dude this season, and I am undoubtedly going to have that dude over projected. Neutral on Keontae George, on Svi, on Ace, on Markkanen, on Nurkic, on Filipowski. Free throws are fine. Assists are fine. A little bit light on Keontae George, but at the same time, I've already made that switch. Rebounds are probably a little high on Ace Bailey. Yeah, surprisingly, Ace Bailey not getting dirty in the boards department. Who could have seen that one coming? Me, probably. So, we are slightly under on Ace Bailey's points. Don't mind it at all, but it'll be interesting. We've got Markkanen in for 27, 5.5 boards, 7 boards. He's probably going to stand out aggressively for me, as he has for most of this season. And spoiler alert, he does. I love Markkanen at 8K here. You know, Indy's not very good. Neither is Utah, but this feels like a decent spot. And then it's probably a bit more Indy with Nembhard and Nesmith, but Keontae George is fine. I think Filipowski off the bench is fine. Power forward, center, 4K. Probably falls off there. I mean, Nurk at 6,100 is always a thing. But I like Markkanen, and he's going to be mostly unowned, as he usually is. But I certainly don't mind having a bunch of him and either swapping some of it out just before 8 o'clock or redistributing around this final game. But now, we've looked at all 5 games on this slate. Is the late game on the FanDuel slate? I haven't looked. I don't even know if I'm logged in. Chat, you might beat me to this. Still waiting on you guys. Oh, two-factor authentication. Chat really is going to get to this first. There it is. Mohammed says no, just as I get to FanDuel. That's great. Okay, perfect. So that game's not on the slate. I'm going to worry about it a little bit less. 11 o'clock start. We have plenty of time to talk about that later. I still got a half hour here, so I kind of want to just like take a peek at some stuff and see where we end up. You know what? I'm going to try something. I don't know how this is going to work right now. This has been something that I needed to try. Today's going to be the day to try it. I'm going to try to open up our projections model so that I can do a copy over while we're live. And if this is working the way that I think it will work, I should be able to do this during the show moving forward, especially for slates of this size. And I can get the projections up immediately. What is happening right now? Let me check my DMs. Was that real? Sorry, very weird experience for a second. Did that actually just happen? It did. Is that the DM? No. How the fuck? Who did that? So are they updated? Was somebody just bored this morning? I think our projections might be up, and I didn't do it. That feels not true, but 1 minute ago. What the hell triggered that? That is bizarre. I'll hunt that problem down in a sec. All right, now I will get this model updated. That's a question for a different time. All right, I'm going to hang out for at least another 20 minutes or so and see what we can get built out here. Anything that you guys specifically want me to take a look at before we keep this moving? But maybe we don't have as much to actually evaluate. Oh, do I have that with those projections? I don't think I do. No, I don't. That sucks. I'll do that later. All right, I'm just going to look down from top to bottom overall. Kind of prefer Maxi to SGA, at least right now. I think all the pay-ups look really similar, save for like not having a ton of interest in the Golden State guys. Value-wise, there are guys that are just my dudes today. MPJ, Peyton Pritchard, Claxton, Simon. Boston in general, Markkanen. Probably a little heavier on Jock Landale than I want to be. Josh Minot for value. The Igor Demon is a thing today. All that sounds amazing. I really don't think I have much more to look at right now. I think I really do just probably need to go ahead and push these out to the site and get started on recording the strategy show VOD. So, reminder, whole new video posted to Stokastic every morning after this show, where I'm going to go through each game for the slate, DraftKings and FanDuel, and give my thoughts for our first run of the projections once they go up. So that was out there yesterday. It's going to be out there again today, along with my starting five. I do think we've actually reached the end of the line today. 90 minutes is feeling about right for this 5-gamer. I think we've looked at just about everything. I think we've touched on all the relevant injury news, because there's not a ton of it. It's Mamu, questionable, Mitchell Robinson, Day'Ron Sharpe, Al Horford, TJ McConnell. Right now, that's all the questionable guys. We do have to wait on Utah from that back-to-back, but I think we've reached the end of the line here. Well, this was fun. Gonna be a very different experience tomorrow. We're gonna need every single minute that we can get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 12 total games tomorrow. Bunch of these teams are on back-to-backs. Now, if we're lucky, I think it'll be a 9-game slate. My expectation is that DK will cut this at 8:30. There's an hour gap here. I think he cut it at 8:30. You do 9 and 3. That makes the most sense to me, at least. Then Thursday, just 3 games. So if you guys have anything that you really want to dig into on Thursday, we can do a bunch of experiments. And then finally, for Friday, NBA Cup, 9 games overall. That's where we stand. So guys, thank you for being here. I appreciate having you. I'm going to get to work getting these projections up on Stokastic.com. They will be there in, 5-10 minutes. Very quickly. You guys can start testing stuff out in the Sims. Keep your eyes peeled for the rest of the content. You guys know the schedule for the rest of the day. Download Tails, sign up at OddsShopper, get our Sims. I'll see you guys later.